So I don't think saving is hard. As far as a lot of people say, I don't think it's hard at all. It needs planning. I think there should be a subject called money in schools. It is as hard as it has been for our grandparents, for our parents, and for us. It needs planning. It needs you to make sure that it's a part of your plan. Trust me, everything I'm telling today, your ChatGPT can answer you. Here is my point. Have you heard the last time you heard someone saying, hey, if you stop drinking that coffee you drink in the morning, you can save $5, which you can invest, which goes to S&P 500, makes 10 to 12% a year, and then makes you a millionaire.
Many times.
How many times have you heard that in the last 1 year?
Many times.
Many times? How many people you know who are millionaires who don't drink coffee?
Nobody.
There is a store which
Right.
says sale, and it says sale, like big sale, 50% off,
Right.
80% off. It says that, and it says maybe once or twice a year. And at that point of time, everyone runs away from it. Every time it's down, every time it's 50% down, 80% down, the maximum calls I get is, hey, Bhuvan, should we pull out our money? I'm going to give you one word, right? And I want your audience to write this down when they are planning to buy an insurance policy, right? One word. It's called why.
Looking ahead, what is your big vision for your business over the next 5 years?
I want to protect 1,000 families.
1,000 families.
1,000 families completely protected, and be the person, their go-to person for anything when it comes to investments or insurance. I want to help families make sure that their future is secured and they are protected while they are securing the future.
What makes the world go round is top about that cha-ching sound like we count bills by the pound is.
Welcome to another episode of ROI Mindset Podcast, the podcast made by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. I'm Murilo Tavares, your host, and today I'm glad to sit down with Bhuvan Sharma, an experienced independent insurance and investment advisor licensed in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario. With more than 15 years of experience as a business owner, Bhuvan Sharma brings a unique perspective to helping families and entrepreneurs secure their futures. So we're going to dive into his journey, the world of investment and insurance, and the mindset that drives his success. Bhuvan, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm really glad to see you.
Thank you, Murilo. It's a pleasure being here today.
How are you doing?
Doing good. It was a long drive, but yeah, feeling well.
Okay, that's awesome. So I have to start somehow, and I would like to ask you a little bit about yourself. Can you tell us more about yourself, where you grew up, and what brought you to Canada?
So I'm from India. I belong to this city called Delhi. I've been living in Delhi all my life.
Big city, huh?
It's a big one. It's the capital of India. So it's been there. It's a city known for politics and for food. So it's one of the best places to grow up. So I was in India till 2018, and that's when I came to Canada. We all come over here for a better lifestyle. That was my reason for coming over here. I did my graduation back home in statistics and then went on to doing my master's in management. Being a business owner all throughout my life, I think I was employed with one of the companies for about a year. And then I started my own journey. Came to Canada, got my license, and here I am today doing the podcast with you.
You mentioned about your family. So I know you're a father and a husband. So how do your family values shape your approach, your work and life?
I think it's everything. If you see my line of work, at the end of the day, I'm working with families. Even if it is business owners, I'm in a line of work where the product, if I can say, or the strategy that we are giving, at the end of the day, works when you're not there, right? That's the hard truth when I talk about insurance. So family values mean everything to me. When I am with families, I understand why it is important, the reason for doing this particular thing, why families need it. And it's all about being for your families. The reason we work every day is to make sure I go back home and have fun with my family. That's the aim.
Agreed. I think so. What you sell is literally for families, right? In order to help secure the families and support them somehow.
Yeah, I like to, I always like to say this. I don't sell. I basically build a strategy for a time, God forbid, if you're not there. Uh, and that's where it becomes so important. That's the insurance part of my business. On the other hand, when I talk about investments, being an immigrant in a new country, the problem is that you do not understand the landscape. You don't understand the terms, and it's my own journey. I came to this country, I had no clue what an RRSP means, what a TFSA means. So the only aim is to educate families about investments and make sure that they are protected while they are making their investments, their legacy, their assets over a period of time.
That's extremely important.
Yep.
Right. And how many families you have helped so far? Do you have an idea?
Uh, I haven't really counted, but I presume it's more than 300 families now.
Whoa.
Yeah, more than 300.
Across Canada.
Across the three provinces, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I need to know more about you. So I know we're going to talk about business soon. And I think this introduction was good enough to get our audience to know you better. But your personal life, and we are friends and I never asked you that. So what are your passions, your hobbies outside of your professional life?
Outside my professional life, if you're an Indian, the first thing you like is cricket. So that's one thing. So I'm excited. India is crushing in England right now.
Whoa.
So that's an amazing part. That's one sport that we all follow. I love reading. I love reading, and my recent vice is to listen to podcasts. I think my wife always says I'm listening more to podcasts than listening to her, and I think I need to change that now.
Right?
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
those are the things I do, and yeah, most important thing, I love being with my son. And yeah, he's teaching me a lot. It's not the other way around. I think I learn from him every single day.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Do you think podcasts will replace books?
So here is the thing. I think anyone and everyone who said I cannot read because I don't have time, podcasters have taken away that excuse from them.
Right.
Because whether it's an audible book or it's a podcast, at the end of the day, now it's available to you. And if you're driving to home or driving to work or coming back home, you have enough time to listen.
Yeah.
So I don't think it can ever replace book. There is something about the smell of a book sitting at a particular pace and listening to it and actually reading it. But if you don't have time and you still want to get the knowledge or you want to just enjoy a book, can be done through a podcast or through Audible.
I agree. Personally speaking, I am reading a book and also listening to the audiobook. That's
Yeah.
my new strategy because it makes me read the book faster.
Yeah, I think what's happening is all of us are very scarce on time right now. So the reason I went on to Audible is because I have a lot of time when I'm driving.
Right.
And it has helped me in two ways. A, I finish a few books, more books than I do generally in a year. And the second good thing is that, it takes away the thought of, oh my God, I'm in a jam. Why is the car moving so slow? You're like, no problems. I'm listening to something I'm liking.
Yeah.
So it's fun. But yeah, it has replaced the music. So I used to listen to a lot of music in my car. That has been replaced by podcast and by books.
Do you think books can make you a successful person?
That's a good question, actually. My opinion, books are just like teachers. They're your guiding lights. They can give you frameworks. There's nothing that can make you give you a straight answer. But if I have to reach out to different things, books would be one of those things, right? And also the fact that if you want to listen and learn from people who have done it in life, a great way to do that would be to read an autobiography or a biography, because then it allows you to do it. And the difference between a book and a movie is the book is a movie in your own version. You are the director. So it is working in your own mind. So that I think is very, very good. Something written in a book can be very differently interpreted by you and by me, belonging to different professions, different line of work.
I see.
Yeah.
I see your point. And I would like to add something on top of that. Everything that you learn from a book, if you don't apply it, is just inside your mind.
Yep. Yeah, true. Actions above everything. If you can't execute, that would be a problem. Funny that you said that. My wallpaper right now on my phone says think, plan, execute.
Look at that.
Yep. So it's right over there.
Show to this camera here.
I have a few notifications coming up, so I'm going to remove that first, just for the privacy purposes. But let me show you.
Think, plan, and execute.
Yep, that is the thing I want to work on. Again, took something from the book.
There you go.
It says think, plan, execute. Right. So the point is execute. The fun part is we always think and plan, but the execution is where things are important, and that's what I want to do this year.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And how important is like a execution? Because if you don't execute a plan, or if you just do things but not in the right way, so how important is for you following these steps and executing in your niche, right? So overall, when we start a new business, we ended up like planning a lot and executing not as much as we planned, and we ended up like not getting the results we expected. So from your perspective, from your niche, how important is planning? Because as a financial advisor, I think you're always looking ahead. Am I right?
Yep. So if you think about this, for in my line of work, when it comes to thinking and planning, it's about, first of all, educating your own self. I cannot sit across a table from you talking about your financial strategy till the time I don't know what's happening in the world right now in my field. So a lot of time goes into actually thinking and planning what exactly am I strategizing and what am I showing to my clients, right? So that becomes the thinking and planning part of it. The second part is the execution. It's very, very important to understand that the person who is sitting right in front of me is not from my field. So I cannot explain them the way I'm learning it. I have to make it easy to understand. Like if I have questions today about podcasting and I come to you, right? And if you give me all the terminologies, right? And suddenly I'll be like, I have no clue what you just said. But if you just say, hey, just keep the mic near your mouth and the sound would be good, right? So that is what the difference is. So the execution part is to build a strategy which people can understand and implement, while the planning part of it is to keep abreast with what's happening right now in the world of finance, in the world of insurance, so that I'm able to give the right thing to my clients. So that's how the thing is. And if I plan, if I keep on learning, but if I'm not able to execute, then there is no point of learning.
Perfect. I see your point. Talking about execution, how hard is to save money nowadays? And what kind of advices you share with your clients? Because I think in order to build something, you need to save something, right? So how hard is to save money nowadays?
It is as hard as it has been for our grandparents, for our parents, and for us. So if our grandparents could do it, if our parents could do it, so can we. So I don't think saving is hard. As far as a lot of people say, I don't think it's hard at all. It needs planning. It needs planning. It needs you to make sure that it's a part of your plan. So if I say, how difficult is it to eat? It is not. I can eat. I eat 3 times a day because that's what I've been taught. That's what we want. We want to go ahead. We want to start putting that into place. I'll tell you, Murilo, what's my problem. The thing is, we're taught everything in school except for money. I think there should be a subject called money in schools. Kids should be taught money from day one, not to be afraid of money, to actually use money, to save money, and how to save money for that matter. So I think that is a subject that's missing from our schools, and I really want that to come in someday.
I cannot agree more with you, because I don't believe we use like a 20% of the stuff we learn from school in terms of like a content, right? Not talking about the soft skills, discipline, teamwork, and all these kind of benefits the school can provide you, right? So do you think in the future to release a kind of like a program, or how nowadays you help people to understand what to do with their money?
So I'll tell you something. When it comes to programs, right, the problem with the world today is there is a program for everything. People are more confused on what to do. They can take a program for eating healthy. They can take a program for exercising right. They can take a program for saving money. I think what needs to be done is we need to understand for sure, right, and there is enough information available. But, and I'm going to say something that's very, very controversial nowadays, something that a lot of people go against. You need to talk to a professional, right? trust me, everything I'm telling today, your ChatGPT can answer you. And I'm not going to fight against it. You need a professional who can talk in your language. And when I say language, I don't mean a Hindi or a English or Portuguese. I mean the way you want to understand it, right? The first trainer who really helps you with your exercise is the person who talks the way you want to listen, right? So I think when it comes to money, when it comes to finances, you need to find the right team. You need to find the right person. Get all the knowledge. It's all there. Read all the books. That's great. But then there is someone who's licensed, who is doing this 24/7. Just trust them. And at the same point of time, make sure you interview the hell out of them. Make sure that they're answering all your questions. But you need to have a team. You need to have a team that helps you understand how the money has to be saved. So that's what I would say.
So that's very valuable. And I want to compliment something. I want to say something else. What Bhuvan is saying is literally there are people in the market who can definitely help you in a faster pace, in a more precise way, bringing you more results, because this kind of professional, such as Bhuvan, an advisor, can use all his experience adapted to your scenario, right? So ChatGPT for sure can help you to give some advices, but not customizable to your scenario, right? And I think human factor is also a thing here, right?
Yep.
Because we're dealing with emotions, right?
Yep.
We are dealing with like a people's future.
Yep.
It's extremely important to get access to this kind of professionals because they can address your pain points, right? Not coming with only one structure or one program or a training that it can make you rich, but actually designing this entire ecosystem that it can make you achieve your goals in a faster pace, in a more accurate way, in a way that will not hurt your pocket, for example, because he works with other families as well. Am I right?
Yes, and you put it beautifully, Muril. And I'll give you a small example. And I also read the books that are available, and I also go to ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT, by the way. So here is my point. Have you heard the last time you heard someone saying, hey, if you stop drinking that coffee you drink in the morning, you can save $5, which you can invest, which goes to S&P 500, makes 10 to 12% a year, and then makes you a millionaire?
Many times.
How many times have you heard that in the last 1 year?
Many times.
Many times? How many people you know who are millionaires who don't drink coffee?
Nobody.
Right? So the thing is, again, it's not a bad strategy. Mathematically, it works. No problems at all. Not even a single problem. Here is my thing. I don't want you to take that coffee in the morning and feel bad about it, right? Because you're going to look at that coffee and think, hey, that's my $1 million going away just because I'm drinking that coffee. You're going to also spoil your mood drinking that coffee that you took to actually be good in mood, right? Have a plan built up. Have something which gives you a clear path of doing things. If I love food and I want to lose weight, I want a trainer who can also inculcate the fact that I like food. He can tell me to eat less, but allow me something rather than making me say, every time you look at food, you should feel bad, right? So that happens. I'll give you another example. So tell me one sale that happens in this world and the whole world runs away from that sale. Do you have an idea?
No idea.
There is a store which
Right.
says sale, and it says sale, like big sale, 50% off,
Right.
80% off. It says that, and it says maybe once or twice a year. And at that point of time, everyone runs away from it.
No idea.
That's your stock market.
Right.
Every time it's down, every time it's 50% down, 80% down, the maximum calls I get is, hey, Bhuvan, should we pull out our money? Imagine this.
So in the right moment to buy, people are running away.
Again, I'm not saying it's wrong, but here is the point. People who pull out money during the market going down, they're not wrong, but most of them are day traders, people who make money by going in and out of the market multiple times a day. Me and you, we're common people. We're doing a long-term strategy. We're putting money in the market for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We are saving it for our kids' education. We are saving it for our retirement. If it is at sale, should I put more money in or should I make the money move out? Right? That's when those nice apps you have, it's so easy to go and just click sell. Just because the world is saying that the market just crashed. The question to ask at that time is, do I really need this money right now? If not, just let it be. Tell me, if I tell you right now, you want to get maximum output in the next 20 years, would you like to have, would you like to buy when the markets are low or when they're high?
When they're lower.
Gives you the answer. So again, I'm not saying we want to time the market. Nobody can time the market. If I knew how to time the market, I wouldn't be in this business. I'll just put some money and make more money. But you need to be consistent. And you need someone who can actually pick up the call when the markets are low and you're saying, hey, I want to sell. Say why. Why do you want to sell? Do you need the money right now? If not, let it be. Let it ride the market out. It actually will give you more money. And if you have some money sitting on the side, great time to put the money in the market. Again, it all depends on your how long-term a horizon you have in terms of your saving. Don't put anything if you have looking for the next 6 months because nobody knows. But yeah, in the next 10 years, 15 years, I'm pretty sure the markets would perform amazingly well.
100%. We
Yep.
need to. We must be patient.
Yep,
Right.
we have to be.
And can I tell you something? That's something school do not teach us, to be patient and analyze the market, right?
Yep.
So everything is so impulsive. Everything is so like a night and day. I want to be rich tomorrow.
Yep.
What is the main challenges that you face nowadays with those customers who tell you that they need to be rich overnight? So what is your advice for these people who maybe these people like they are watching us right now? So what is your main advice? And I truly believe you are more long-term kind of investor, advisor. So what would you say to these people who wants to get rich overnight investing? Is there anything that you'd like to share for them?
Yeah, I'm not the right advisor for you. That's the first thing. I always ask my clients, what's your time horizon? And if it's a short term, I'm not the right guy for you. To be honest with you, Murillo, I don't know how you can make money in the next 6 months. To be honest, I don't think anyone knows that. Because if someone knows how to make money in the next 6 months, well, they wouldn't tell you.
There are something quite funny because some people they are selling or they're teaching other people how to get rich in 6 months, right?
Yep.
So what do you think about this kind of like a gurus or whatever you want to call them?
So I'll share a story. I actually, and I have to admit to this, I fell into this trap when I think I was 25 or 26 back home.
Oh, you're young. Do not worry. Do not blame yourself.
Yeah, so 25, 26, right? And then I realized there is a whole concept which is called as the shiny ball syndrome, which is anyone comes to me and say, I can make you rich in the next 6 months. I want to do that, right? But I've learned from my mistakes. I have burned a lot of money and realized it just doesn't happen. So if someone is selling something or telling me a way to get rich in the next 6 months, I generally block their number and don't look at their website and don't go there. I also advise the same to my friends. But because I've burned my hands, I think that's how we learn. So if someone wants to look into it, definitely. And maybe they find something. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, yeah, people have made money from Dogecoin. Let's be honest about that. So
everything is possible now.
Who am I to say anything about not making money in 6 months, right? I'm nothing. But it won't work for 99% of the people. And I am working with, and I am myself 99% of the people. I'm not the 1%, right? So it's very anti of what is being sold nowadays, right? I don't think you can get rich in 6 months. Every time I see someone who's got rich in 6 months, I love going and asking them how they did it. And there's always 15, 20 years of hard work that got them rich in the last 6 months. Right. So it's very cliched, but I still believe everyone says Messi is an overnight success. Go back, read what he was doing when we were watching movies with our friends and give you an answer how he's an overnight success. So yeah, that's my point. So it's a long-term game.
Yeah, I also think, especially when we talk about stocks. Now, switching a little bit our topic, I would like to talk about insurance policies. So what is your main mistake or how I can choose the right insurance the right life insurance policy that will not hurt my pockets, and that will make sure that I will be protected. So my family is going to have a bright future. So what kind of advices you share with your audience, with your customers when choosing life insurance policy?
I'm going to give you one word, right? And I want your audience to write this down when they are planning to buy an insurance policy, right? One word. It's called why. Take a piece of paper and write why. Why do I want to take this insurance policy? Is it just to protect my wife and my kids, my family? Is it so that I can just take care of a liability that just came onto me? Or is it for something very, very long term? Once you have answers of these, and I would actually urge you to do this exercise with your insurance advisor when you sit with them. Tell them, I'm going to take whatever things that you're offering, but I want to answer the question why. Because I've realized most of the people I meet who already have insurance policies don't know why they took it. They took it because the advisor told them to take it. Possibly a friend came to their house and said, hey, I'm starting this new business. You should be protected. Take this. But they don't know the why. I'll give you an example. So if I'm buying a house today, right, that's the first time most Canadians and new immigrants think about buying a life insurance policies when they take their first mortgage, right? And then they're sitting with me and they're like, hey, I took this house for $1 million. I just need to protect this house. Can you give me an insurance policy? The mortgage is for 25 years. Do you think if I give them a policy that covers them for 10 years would make sense? No, right? Because the mortgage is for 25 years. You're sitting with a family who are planning a kid in the next 5 years, and they want to make sure that the kids are also protected. Would a term 10 policy help me? Maybe not. So we need to figure out why you are looking for an insurance policy, right? I see so many people who have life insurance policies do not have critical illness. The probability of me today getting a critical illness is much more than me passing away. So do I have that protected? So I know it's a hard conversation. I completely believe that nobody is getting up in the morning thinking, hey, I'm going to buy a life insurance today. But when you choose to do that, please sit and ask your why. Once you have the answer to your why, is when you look out for what kind of strategies are available in the market. There are advisors who are completely independent, have access to multiple companies. So one thing I can assure you is those advisors can get you the best price because the price is same for all of us. But is the strategy correct for you? There are times when I meet my clients, not my clients, but I meet people who come to me and say, hey, can you review the policy that we currently have? I think I have an insurance policy of $1 million and I bought it about 6-7 years back. I look at the policy, it says term 10, bought 7 years back. Technically, they have coverage for only the next 3 years, right? So it's important to look at what strategy you're looking at. Price, trust me, it is secondary. How do you want to build on it? What kind of coverage do you want on it? Do you want coverage for the whole family, right? Who will be the beneficiary? Are your kids written as contingent beneficiaries on your policy? That strategy is very important. Rest everything can be taken care of. It's person to person. Some people love having cash value in the policy, some don't. And it's totally right. As an advisor, our job is to give you those options, show you the pros and cons, and then it's you who takes it. But you need to figure out a strategy that works well for you. And two things, only two things, majorly decide your premium: your age and your health. I cannot tell you how many 60-year-old people, clients, come to me looking for more insurance, but I can't insure them because there are health conditions. Right? And at the same point of time, when and it's much more expensive because you're 60 years old. And the same time when I'm talking to 25-year-olds, they say, hey, I don't need insurance right now. So if I have to give even a very, very simple advice today, I'll just say, get your policies done yesterday. Don't wait for tomorrow. Have a coverage in place. And when you're having that conversation with your advisor, ask why. Why should I take this particular policy? Don't ask how expensive and how cheap it is. That's point number 2. Because the price is decided by the insurance companies in Canada. It's the strategy that is tailor made for you by your advisor and yourself. So find the right strategy, go ahead in the market and look for different carriers, the different insurance companies who will give you the price, and then take the one that works the best for you. But I'm going to say it again. Ask your why, build your strategy. That's what's important.
And that's where I think you make your role so important from my perspective, because you guide people to understand their why. And after they understand their why, they're going to define a strategy with you. Am I right?
So everything I said right now, I think that is something that every advisor should be doing. Every person who's sitting with an advisor should be asking for this. A lot of times I see people are taking things just because that was the first strategy that was told to them. So I'm not going to say this is what I do. I think this is what is to be done by every advisor who is sitting with you discussing about life insurance.
What makes you different than other financial/insurance brokers in the market?
First and foremost, I myself am in the same shoes as most of my clients. So most of my clients would be young families, as well as business owners. So I understand what they're going through because I'm going through the same thing, right? So when I think of a strategy, I have to place myself over there first. And then I see, hey, does it work for me? If it works for me, it should work for most of the people. And then I would have the same questions that they have, right? I would have questions like, hey, I have a policy running back at home. Should I close that before I buy a policy over here? That's a question I had the day I took up my own policy. Or what happens to my investments back home if I do it over here? Or should I do it back home or should I do it over here? All these questions are questions I have myself. These are questions that me and my wife discuss when we are doing our planning of finances. So I think that's one part which makes me different because I understand what my clientele, my market is looking for. And I'm able to explain them because I'm trying to explain myself, right? So that's what makes me different.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think you answer really well because empathy is something every professional should have, right? Especially when they are about to protect their family, to protect their future, right? And sometimes we don't see that same kind of like engagement from every professional, especially in your industry. So what are the main problems your industry faces nowadays? Because there are so many apps in the market that can do supposedly the same job as you do. So how technology is taking over of this role as a financial advisor / again, insurance broker?
I think it's amazing. I think the technology is here to help us. I think it has amazingly helped me to help my clients. It gives you reasons for a lot of things. Just put a concept in ChatGPT, it'll give you your pros and cons. You need an advisor to exactly understand, and if the AI is making mistake, to give them the right prompts, right? But it's great. It's great. When I look at investment apps, my clients have apps which they can use to track their investments. That's great. They can look at what they're doing. And I think we are here to embrace the technology. We are not here to say, oh my God, the technology is ruining everything. But there's one thing that I want to caution everyone, is the fact that when I look at technology, they are making it seem it is so easy. Please do it yourself. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a prospective client and they said they are investing with a certain app that we all know. And I said, that's great. That's amazing. And they got amazing returns, great returns in 2024. We all got great returns because the market was high, right? But at the same point, at 2023 actually, here is the thing. I asked him, what funds are you invested in? And I was astonished by the answer that he gave me. He said there is a tab. Do you see those bars which you can like slide from here to here? The volume bars,
Yeah.
maximum, minimum.
Yeah.
It was a risk bar, minimum risk, maximum risk, and he just slid it somewhere in between, and he left it there. Imagine if I tell you, Murillo, give me $50,000, and I'm not going to tell you which funds I'm in. It is available, but it's not literally available right in front of you. So I was shocked. He was not. But I think that's where I think technology goes to a point where it's making it too simple. Anytime you see a buy button or a sell button on most of the apps, they're big. It's so easy to click them because they want you to transact. That's how they make money. Nobody's stopping you from selling. Nobody's stopping you from buying. They're actually putting in front of you even bigger strategies, right? That's where I think the line needs to be drawn. But other than that, technology is awesome.
What you're saying is the user interface, and for sure they take advantage of that because they make it so easy to you to invest, to put
Yep.
your money there, to
Yep.
sign up for a policy, for example.
Yep.
And what you're saying is actually pay attention is a red flag when it's too easy.
Exactly. It's like, for example, when you talk about an insurance policy, if you look at the apps, they actually want to do everything according to how less expensive a policy is. So everything is about, we can get your policy $9.99 every single month. I don't think that's the way you buy an insurance policy.
It's too important to be so easy.
It is too important to be so easy. I don't mind $9.99. I mind you buying it because it is $9.99. I mind it when you buy a policy without any medicals because there are things written inside the policy that we are not ready to see. I was looking at a policy which said, we will cover you for everything except for any pre-existing conditions. And I'm talking to a 51-year-old. They had no clue that was there in the policy. It was cheap. It was really cheap. Why? It was so easy. 2 clicks. Just put your KYC. 2 clicks, you're done.
Maybe some people, they even buy this stuff not knowing their rights in the policy, right? So do you have an example? So summer is kicking in, right? People are coming to Vancouver to enjoy the summer. So do you have an example that you had to help a client or someone who became your client due to the fact they made a mistake buying a policy, a travel insurance policy in the past from these kind of apps or in a very easy manner?
So, yes and no. When you talk about visitors coming to Canada, it's a completely different ballgame from what we discussed till now. The Canadian healthcare system is free for all of us, right? Anyone who is living in Canada, we don't have to pay a dime when we go to see the doctor. The narrative flips completely 360 when it is for visitors who are coming to Canada. Nothing is free.
They're not covered.
They are not covered. And oh my God, the price.
And they need, or it's recommended to have a travel insurance in that case.
See, I'll put it very simply. Let's follow what the government says, right? There's a plan called Super Visa, right, which allows your parents to live for longer durations in Canada.
Okay.
One of the main things that you have to do, even to put in the application, is to have an insurance policy, $100,000 coverage for 1 year.
That is mandatory.
That is mandatory when you're doing the application.
And does people know that?
They should. Actually, you can't do the application till the time you get that insurance.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people get to know that they need insurance only when they do the application. My question, why did the government put that as a requirement?
Because it is a risk to the country.
Exactly. Because if someone comes to the country, has a medical procedure, which was emergency, something that they had no clue about, the cost is going to run into hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if they go back, it's very difficult to recover, right? Also, the family over here has to pay that money. So things go full circle. So we have to understand there's a reason why the government put that when they're doing the Super Visa application. There is no reason for them to do that. Why is the government caring about insurance? right? That is the first place where you get to see it's so important. Let's go next. Talk to your friends who've gone and seen what kind of claims are there when you go to a hospital. When you go to the hospital the next time, and I hope nobody goes to the hospital, but if you are visiting a ER next time, please make sure where you get your registration done, there's a small board right there which says the amount they're going to charge for non-residents. Just look at that amount. The last time I saw it was 990 plus taxes.
How much?
990 plus taxes.
Guys, it's better to get an insurance.
So I'm not saying just buy insurance for the sake of it. It's just because it's needed. And in Canada, the thing is we don't pay for our medicals, so we don't think about it. It's not even on our itinerary, right? But when our parents are coming in, when our family is coming in from a different country, it is so very important. Talk to one person who has gone through the system and seen what it cost, and I can assure you, you will make sure that you're buying that insurance. Again, lots of clauses in those insurance. You need someone to tell you what's there in the insurance. It is not about the price. One thing I can tell you is please don't take an insurance policy just because it's the lowest price. You need to take a policy that gives the right coverage to your family. You need to read that policy document.
And can I add something? Not necessarily the most customizable or the policy that fits the best to your family is the most expensive. Sometimes you're making a choice based on the price solely, and for a little bit more or maybe less, you're gonna buy something that fits your pocket, one, and most important, is gonna support your family when you need, right?
Yeah, you're so right. If I can put some numbers behind it, I would say 85% of the people who are traveling to Canada are actually completely eligible and completely covered by the most affordable policy, right? But you need to know when you're not, when there is a pre-existing medical condition, right? One of the biggest things, and I want to reach out to everyone who's listening to this podcast, right? When it comes to your parents who are coming to Canada, there are two kinds of policies that you can buy. One that covers pre-existing condition, one which does not. And the one that covers pre-existing conditions only covers stable pre-existing conditions. Please talk to an advisor. Go on to the policy wording and look out for what it means to have a pre-existing condition, whether it's stable or not, and then buy the policy. So very important. It is not expensive, but it'll make day and night difference. God forbid you if I have to go for a claim.
No, what is the funniest part? When you're gonna go to an Apple store to buy an iPhone, you check all the features, right? You check all the benefits. You know the camera. You know how many terabytes you have. You know everything. You know the price. But when it's about buying a life insurance or a travel insurance to your family, you want the cheapest one and you want to sign up. So you don't protect your family. But when you're going to buy an iPhone, when you're going to buy a car, you know all the features. You know how much you're going to spend per month. You want to understand all the benefits, how to turn it on, how to take photos. But when it's life, family protection, you want to just sign up as quick as possible because you don't want to waste time on it.
Yeah, but they're not wrong. You know, this is so anti what I do, but they're not wrong. I'll tell you the reason why. Your insurance policy is an intangible product or a strategy, if I can say, if I'm comparing it to an iPhone. You don't see anything. The joy that you get when you're buying a phone is different. You want to come home. You want to look at the screen. You want to do everything. You know, the one thing I tell all my clients when I'm giving them insurance, right? I hope you never have to come to me for a claim.
Yeah, you buy to do not use. I
never
understand
use
your
it.
perspective.
So,
But it can save your life.
Yeah, but it takes away all of that, right? So my thing, and I totally agree and disagree, I don't think you will do it out of the way you do it for your phone. But you can always ask your advisor that questions and take those 5 minutes to just go through the policy.
That's actually the right point.
Right.
You come
Yeah.
and make everything easier, right? Because look at that. That's the funniest part. And you're going to understand my analogy. When you're going to buy an iPhone, I'm going to use the same example. You go to Apple's page.
Yep.
And everything, all
Yep.
the specifications are there.
Right.
When you're going to buy a policy, a life insurance policy, for example, you need someone to explain you because the language is not that easy, right? So for sure, today you have ChatGPT and stuff. But if you have someone as an advisor that can help you to choose, to make the best decision, that's the best way because you have a professional with experience who's going to clarify everything. Am I right?
Yes, 100%. That's my duty. That's what I'm meant to do. I have to tell you what your policy is all about. What are the exclusions? What do you mean by the word stability? I have to actually explain what the terminology means. But just taking a pre-existing condition coverage doesn't mean everything is covered. It needs to be stable, right? So have those conversations. See, it's very simple. You need to take out 30 minutes of your time when you're buying a policy for anyone coming from a different country. You can use those 30 minutes, read a complete policy, or you can use 30 minutes to tell your advisor, I need to sit and talk to you. And be upfront to your advisor about what kind of pre-existing your parents have or your family has. Make sure you tell them what kind of medical conditions they have so that the advisor can at least point you towards the policy that has the right coverage for you. Right? A lot of times people either don't know or they are not telling you about the medical conditions. And that makes the job of an advisor very, very difficult. Right? So give them all the information and ask them questions. Please ask your advisor questions. Trust me, any advisor who does it for the love of it loves questions. Because every time I hear a question which I don't have an answer to, I love going to the company and saying, hey, listen, this is this one thing that you wrote.
Amazing. Yeah.
I want to know what this means because that's going to help me with my next 10 clients. And trust me, my clients teach me so much every single day. And it's amazing because they are the third point of view. I can look at a policy like an advisor. They look at it as a consumer. So it gives me so much to ask the company. And the company is there to answer, by the way. They're not just there to make a policy. They are there to answer. It's their duty to answer. That's where we come as a bridge. We go to them and we get you answers.
Good.
So that's
Good.
what's important. So, yeah, but I'm going to say it again. It's not a very fancy thing. I also take a lot of time to when I'm looking at which phone I'm going to buy. But when it comes to insurance, even I need to sit and put a time for this much time to just see what is happening. So, yeah, it is the nature of my line of work. You can't do anything about it.
Gotcha. So switching the topic a little bit, and I think we're going to have like a 10 more minutes of conversation. Guys, very insightful conversation. I'm really enjoying it. And all the
Thank you.
questions I'm making are like honest questions, right? So how does social media leads your market, leads your business?
See, again, I'm going to go back to the point where I said that as a new immigrant in the country, I had no clue what the terminology of different things in the finance world means, right? So it took me time to understand. And then I realized social media is the best way for me to tell those things to people who are around me. So social media has become that, that medium that I can actually use to just tell people about what these terms mean, what these strategies means, why there is taxation on a few things and there is no taxation on other things. And keeping it within 30 seconds allows you to just make it jam-packed into something which is crucial for you to know and just give it all out. And to be very honest, I'll be a little selfish over here to say this. I'm doing this to just document it for myself too. Right? It's a great way for me to go ahead and say something and have it on document that this is what it means. So when I talk about having before you do any kind of investing, you should have an emergency fund for yourself. That's very, very near to my heart. So I don't come to, so when I say that on social media, I have clients who are coming up to me and who say, hey, listen, do we need to do emergency fund first or should we start investing? I'm like, no, you have to do your emergency fund first, right? So it kind of helps me document my journey. I'm loving it. I do this 24/7. So I want to document my journey, but at the same point in time, it's a great way for people to know what's happening. So it just gets you out and give the message of whatever you're saying. And I'm telling you, Murillo, there's such good creators out there who are giving you so much more important. And I'll tell you another simple thing, something that I realized almost 1 year into creating videos. most of the time, people get confused with advisors who are in the United States with strategies in Canada. And because the time duration is 30 seconds, we don't even get to know if the advisor is from Canada or from US. So there'll be a lot of times when you find people saying, hey, I want to do this strategy. And like, hey, you can't do it in Canada, right? So social media also allows me to put a Canadian perspective to your financial strategies. And that is another thing that I really, really want to go ahead and say, I am building this thing for the Canadians. How to navigate their financial strategy in the Canadian landscape. That's what we're looking at.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very good point. So what's coming next? Looking ahead, what is your big vision for your business over the next 5 years?
I want to protect 1,000 families.
1,000 families.
1,000 families completely protected and be the person, their go-to person for anything when it comes to investments or insurance. I want to help families make sure that their future is secured and they are protected while they are securing their future, right? That's the aim right now.
That's Bhuvan Sharma, guys. That's the end of our podcast. I really enjoy our conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Murillo.
So I hope you guys enjoy the conversation as well. I try to be as more natural as possible, so people who you might have any questions about life insurance or travel insurance, you could definitely get all these answers, all these questions answered. So thank you so much. Stay tuned. I appreciate your time. Have a great day. Thank you, Bhuvan.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What makes the world go round is top about that cha-ching sound like we count bills by the pound is we can't stop 'cause we live it for the money. What makes the world go round is top about that cha-ching sound like we count bills by the pound is
Don't stop, rock the block, cause once we get started, then we just can't stop. And when you see the Lamborghini, then you know what's up. Because cheap is cheap and the talk is talk, yeah. Now we chillin' on a cruise ship, take a jet to Korea, how we do it. All the players are playing the game, head is looking lame, so we started getting money and you know we stay paid.